Say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Brian Smith. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented in the council packet.
I will make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All right, there's a motion to approve the minutes. Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Brian Smith,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Abstain.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
and Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
and Dean Reister.
Yes.
You all been presented with the month-end financial report. Since no questions were submitted, I'll entertain a motion to approve the reconciliation report and distributions for the month.
I'll make a motion.
Jason? Who was the second?
Yeah.
Kenny? All right. Motion on the floor to approve the finance report. Jason Franks,
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Brian Smith.
Yes.
Here is the pass it around for the signature. I guess we're ready for recognition. Yeah.
Read the report.
Well, what's that? Oh, the reader report, I guess, but if there's any questions on it.
No questions on Rita? Okay, let's go to our visitors. Kendra?
Okay, John's not here, he had to go to Pennsylvania, so I get to do this by myself. Okay, so I got several things. Packet of pictures of the trailer. This is just like a breakdown of everything I'm gonna talk about. Sorry, it's long.
Broke up.
It's everything, that's all the pictures.
Oh,
Here's some of the things that have been going on with
Kendra?
it, if you wanna pass a few
You
around.
know about the appeals meeting on the
Yes,
21st,
yep.
right?
Yep,
Okay.
so we're gonna go to the appeals meeting too, so I kinda wanted to just bring everybody up to speed on what, kinda what's going on with it.
There's 4 different pages of pictures and there's 4 sets.
Okay,
So,
alright, here's the
that way you
references we have to on stuff that we've been talking about. Okay, so let's breeze through it real quick. So trailer, placed there in 1988, it's not grandfathered in, because that's prior to 1976. So as far as we know, there's no paperwork for the trailer, there's no building permits, there's no certificate of occupancy for the trailer. It breaks about 3 different zoning laws. However, the decision was made that this trailer would stay because it's been there since 1988 and because we have a lack of affordable housing here in the town. I don't find those reasons acceptable. I think I would rather go for the facts on this, of what kind of zoning laws it's broken. The fact that it has no paperwork, the fact that they're working on it now and the zoning placed a stop work order on the trailer and they continue to work on it. They've worked on it every day since the stop work order has been placed.
Did they work on it today?
Yes, they worked on it every day. And then they have built on a little bit to that front porch on the front with non-pressure treated wood. They put particle board around the bottom to hide what's underneath the trailer. They have not fixed anything underneath the trailer.
When was the stop work order issued?
Last week sometime.
A week ago Monday.
Yeah, we can go Monday, yep. So, and they worked on it every day since, and it's not been enforced. I don't know how that's enforceable, because I don't know the zoning or anything, but it's not been enforced. And they're basically continuing to work on it with the cheapest materials they have to just cover everything up. So, it's one of those, they're just covering everything up. They're not actually like fixing any of the structural issues that it has wrong with it. So, I'm not sure. There is a zoning appeal meeting because of the decision. We have decided to appeal on the 21st, which we'll all be at. It's like a public hearing. That's our next order of action on it. I guess our biggest thing that we would like to see is that we either ultimately we would like it removed, obviously, because it's in terrible condition. It's a blemish on the street. It brings property values down. It's got a multiple of other things wrong with it. But if that's not the case, we would at least like it to be up to code. I would like it to be formally inspected by a building inspector to at least have it documented, everything that's wrong with it. So then if there is a future of getting rid of it, then we at least have it in documentation then.
Set there.
So I guess that's what we're asking for, the biggest thing. And I don't know that a building inspection's been scheduled.
It is not.
So that would be my next ask, if anything, along with the appeal meeting, which we'll all be at. So,
Put this out for work.
whatever you.
Dave has issued 2 of them so far.
2.
Yes, for different things.
They ripped down the first one.
Yeah, they just ripped it down.
And they set fire in the back of the trailer and left it, and just left the premises. So I don't know if they were trying to burn it down, or what, but it burnt grass around it, and the police were called on that one too.
You call the police, make a
Yep.
report on
Yep.
it?
Yes.
Yes. So,
So when that's issued, then what is the other, what's the course of action when they don't abide by the stop order?
That all will be determined by zoning
So-
in this
It'd be
field.
at the appeals
On the next
meeting.
step.
We had
The
a-
appeals meeting.
We had the house that was across the street from where the new Family Dollar was built, and we went through a process with that one too. And it was bought and it was turned over, and they remodeled it and brought it up to code.
Yeah.
And so there was a process that we used to get that one back to livable condition.
this does have to, though,
No, but
meet
it
the
was
setback
somebody that was
rules.
hired, so we could hire one.
Yeah, if Mr. Lee's in Mommy Landing had to meet the setback rules, this one will too.
Well, that's up to the variance board. They can.
Well, and Gabe said he wasn't sure what to do since they weren't complying with the stop work order. But the Ohio Revised Code said that it goes to a public nuisance then, so I don't know who that falls under.
They had it for a 21 in the
This will
garage.
all come up at the zoning appeals meeting.
That I don't think actually exists.
Present everything there, because they'll make the decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess our big thing
This is
with
their-
you all is we want it inspected, and that's, zoning's not gonna do, zoning
Yeah,
doesn't do
I mean,
that.
it's, the roof is rusted through. The,
I did see it.
yeah,
Thank
They,
you, Kendra.
Yep.
Thank you, Kendra.
Yeah.
anyhow, there's
George, please
several
report.
sets of them.
Yeah, copies of the report. Any questions?
Did we move on from the trailer?
Yes.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
they're gonna be at the zoning, the appeals meeting on the 21st and present everything there to them, because they're the ones that'll make the decision.
I think last time we talked about it more like an old business, like
Yeah.
relative to if we wanna open, I think that's what we did last meeting at least, so
Yeah.
we can talk about
If there's
it.
no questions for George, then I guess can we move to the fiscal officer?
Yeah.
So on the fiscal officer's report, we have an emergency reading of resolution 2023-13. This is a resolution authorizing the village administrator to accept and manage the Ohio Department of Development Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Grant and declaring this an emergency.
This is the $577,000 we got for the water tower, and we have to do it as an emergency because things have to be signed between now and 90 days. So obviously, if we took our normal course of action, it
What was that
would.
again, resolution?
It's resolution 2023-13.
So what do we need to do?
We have to have a motion to suspend the rules.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Motion on the floor to suspend the rules. Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
Dean Reister,
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Steve Jordan,
Yes.
Brian Smith.
Yes.
Now that we've suspended the rules, entertain a motion to accept and approve the resolution.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor to accept and approve, Dean Reister,
Yes.
Steve Jordan.
Yes.
Bryce Steiner,
Yes.
Jason Franks,
Yes.
Kenny Reinhardt,
Yes.
and Brian Smith.
Yes.
That's the end of the fiscal officer report. That's all I have this month, so.
Hey, Brian.
Sir,
Kenny did, but I don't know what he,
Did you want something?
Yeah, does that cover most of the cost of the water tower?
Well, until we go to bid, we don't know. I'm hopeful it'll cover it all, but we just don't know. I'm working on the engineering.
What all does it need besides paint? Does it need,
There's things that need to be repaired and brought up to date for EPA's codes, current codes. So there's some,
it needs a better ladder up there or something?
I think the ladder's one of them. I want them to look at.
Yeah.
It, you know, I apologize because when I get here in the morning, I don't even bother to look to see if the lights are on at the tower. Do we have lights on our water tower?
Used
I don't think so.
I don't think we do.
One red light on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, for aviation. I mean, we don't have anything to light the name. Because I want to get that as a secondary quote, see what it costs to have lighting put on there, so that you could see actually the town's name from 24.
Is this grant earmarked for the water tower only? If there's anything
Only.
left over, can we use it somewhere
No.
else? Okay.
So if there won't be anything left over, I
Yeah,
assure you, I'll
I
make sure
won't be
that.
that lucky, though.
I'll make sure there's nothing wrong.
He has on the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Slip and slide something, right?
Is there any committees that need to give reports?
Yeah. Any committee reports this time? Nope. Any new business?
I've just got a few things I want to go over. Of course, we just talked about the grant. Spoke with engineering, Jones and Henry, regarding the water plant submittal to the EPA. Still waiting for approval on that process. The LMI study is going well, and hopefully it will continue to go well as far as receiving those back from our members within the community. The Railroad Street reconstruction began today. I think it's probably 30 to 60 or 30 to 45 days to completion. So they're working on that. I did have them paint a crosswalk from the park going into the park station stone parking lot that's going to be there. And I've got 2 signs out there to put up as a crosswalk, so that as we transition that property for parking, then we have a crosswalk and we actually have signs in place.
Does that utilize the old sidewalk?
We're gonna take that out and we're gonna put in one of those wooden bridges like they have out by the school.
Okay.
That we wanna make it where it's like 5 feet wide, so if you're pushing a wheelchair and someone's
Absolutely.
walking, they can pass. So I've gotta get with those folks and see about having that built. And then I got your no parking signs up down on the
Thank you.
ramp going down to the river.
I've seen those down there, Have you had trouble with people parking down there?
Evidently, I had a council member reach out and ask me to put up signs. So I did. That's all I have.
On the LMI, was that stuff, I thought I just heard that was being mailed out to everybody?
It was mailed out to 661 people.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
That's the addresses that we have in our database for the
It's for
For the-
everyone who has a
Water-
water bill.
water
Say
bill,
all
yeah.
water bill.
Okay.
Yep, so,
It was on Facebook too, wasn't it? Like,
And on our
people fill out,
website.
Yeah, like,
Yep. Yep, and I'll come back with a reminder probably this week or whatever. Thanks for filling them out, keep them going, stuff, because I don't know how many we have right now, but, I mean, we need like 300 of them returned, so.
What happened 2 years ago? And not enough people,
Well, the sampling that we got 2 years ago, the income of those sampled was too high. I mean, it factually is what it was, but when you did the mathematics and determined whether or not you were LMI qualified, we were not. So hopefully we get more people, which kind of dilutes the pool and the number, so.
I think more information's been out there this time. People are more aware of it and know what it's for, and,
right?
Incentive helps.
yeah.
Yeah, the $25
Absolutely,
off
it
on the
helps.
water bill. probably
Yeah,
makes
and they
the
offer
difference.
$25 off on your water bill if you
We
return
had people
it,
printing
so.
them off the website and bringing them in before they even went out in the mail. So, yeah, it helps, but
Anybody put it on social media?
it's on Facebook and it's on the
I
website.
haven't seen it, but that's good.
Yep, it's on there. Any other questions?
You have any old business?
Yeah, I think this goes under old business.
Okay.
I would like to propose, we've dealt with the sidewalk, several times, and then thank goodness it's going. But the fire hydrant, that stands out there, that's back off the street and is up elevated, I would
Yeah.
like to propose we move that forward within 20 feet of 49, I've talked to Ray Friend, former fire chief, and Bobby Addis, current fire chief, and they both say it's supposed to be moved out, closer to the road. Easier to find than a mutual aid run, and because in inclement weather, dragging those through the snow and laying more hose, they'd like to see it moved, and it's an eyesore. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
way up in the
it
air.
sticks way up.
And as opposed, as we've discussed, of routing around it with a sidewalk, I'd like to move the hydrant and have a straight sidewalk. I think it'd look a lot better.
Is that
Well-
is that a big job to move that?
It all depends on, in reality, what the plumbing's like underground, as to where you can move
Is
it.
that a real old?
Yes,
hydrant?
it's no rider. Probably just, instead of moving, it should just be replaced. I don't know if we have any. I think we do have.
We have one right
Yeah,
now, yeah. Lead times on them are awful long.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But I'll get with Curtis and I'll check and see what we can do
Great.
and see about doing
That's
that.
something we can do, right? I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll obviously use PUDs, but yeah, we can dig it up and stuff, so.
That's what I've got.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, Mayor's report. The Mayor's report this month, total sent to the city was $2,372. Total to the state, $450. Indigent driver, $18, with a total of $2,840. Okay? And, I don't know if all of you on council are aware, Victoria Clemens, our officer, stepped down from full-time police. She's gonna stay on contractual as mayor's clerk and just help out with police reports and stuff, but she's off the payroll for the police. So, she's done a great job, 24 years.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Even less coverage.
We should have a potluck.
Should.
Yeah. I think so.
I talked to her about a little party, cake and stuff, and, Victoria.
No. We could have a potluck even if she doesn't want to come.
Show up if you want to, but we're celebrating.
If you want to stop by.
She's done a wonderful job.
So are we
Yeah,
gonna
big
take a look
council.
at replacement?
Pardon?
Are we taking a look at replacement?
Yeah, we'll go into executive session.
Well, we've got
before we
Aaron.
adjourn.
Have you ever met the new police officer?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna take on more hours.
Okay, good.
So, yeah.
How many hours are they allowed to work?
Police officers?
That is, we need them.
Yeah, I don't know. There's
Yeah,
set hours.
they're just like any other employee. If they work over their 40 hours for the week, they get paid overtime. But I mean,
That's up to George.
it's up to
Manning.
George. George manages the police department as far as their
He
hours,
sets their hours and
the
schedules.
schedule.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's all I've got.
Mayor, before we adjourn, I'd like to go into executive session.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session.
Awesome.
Okay. We have a motion to enter executive by Dean, second
Got
by
it.
Kenny.
Yeah.
Roll call, Dean,
Yes.
Kenny, Steve.
Yes.
Jason,
Yes.
Bryce,
Yes.
Brian.
Before we go any further, okay.
Are we
Just,
still in executive?
no,
No, we left.
We left
executive. No action.
15 seconds ago. Okay. Gabe has issued the stop orders. Okay, at this point, are those stop orders still in effect?
I would think, unless he
Unless he revokes
Unless it
them,
was
right?
revised.
Because he's an officer of the council, right, as far as,
he's
No, he's an employee of the mayor. He works
right,
for
I mean,
me.
but he can issue a citation, he's like.
He has some authority based on
Yeah.
being the zoning inspector, yes.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know if you got the email or if you saw it, but he was very frustrated. He said, I've never had anybody not, yes. In that email, he said he has never had anybody not comply multiple times where they just completely ignore what he said.
I mean,
What his notices that are posted,
I
they
read-
just tore him down, kept going.
I have
He
to,
was- He's like, I don't know what, that's literally what he wrote in his email. He's like, I don't know what to do.
I'd say he never sent me an email.
Uh,
I didn't get it.
Well, it shouldn't go to all of us, because then it would be,
It was,
That
I
falls
filed the
back into
complaint,
the-
so I think that's why, but I think Jan was on it.
Mhm.
I think you were on it,
Mhm.
so
so.
if you filed the complaint, then doesn't that fall back to the this part,
The zoning committee.
like you not being able to put,
Conflict.
like the Kenny thing with the sidewalk. It becomes, if you're filing a complaint.
I didn't file a complaint about anything other than that there's no money going out from the council to pay for sidewalks for me.
Yeah, no.
This here is strictly because it violates numerous things from
on
multiple
that
property
touches
owners.
your property. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Bryce, I'm not trying to
No,
come
no,
at
no.
you, but
I'm
saying
just clarifying here
you're
that
trying to keep us out of trouble relative to the same thing
Yes.
that you did
No,
with
no.
Kenny when the sidewalk thing is that if there is some sort of, like, I don't want all this to go where we end up getting in trouble for that. That's why I was asking.
Right,
I
no.
wasn't, you know.
Especially if they're fighting it, then they're looking for any door they can get.
Right, and that's the thing, like, you, and I, again, not
Yeah.
at you, but if
No.
you do something and then they come back and go, well, hey, they're picking on me at the council meeting, they're not allowed to do this, then we lose some of that power that we do have. So that's why I was asking. It's, again, not a,
what,
I mean, personally, I feel like this is all needs to be handled by zoning. I don't know what council would do.
That's why we have this,
I don't know what's in our
that's why we're having
description.
the appeals.
I don't know what our description would be
I-
to what we would do.
and you're right, Dean. This should just be that. I'm not really sure why it came up here, other than Kendra brought it up.
If zoning makes a decision on this, I'm asking, I'm not telling you, if zoning makes a decision on this, does that not have to come through council to be okayed?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It does?
I don't think so.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it does.
I think it
I
does
think it
too.
does, Dave.
Yes,
You're talking
Zoning is a
Hold on.
committee
Council
under
council
council.
has.
Hold on,
final
you talking
word.
zoning or you talking the appeals?
Zoning
No, I'm
appeals
talking
has
zoning.
their own.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
this meeting, the 21st,
Yeah.
whatever they decide, does that, or does it not have to come back and go through council?
I think
Gabe
it's
has to
fine.
come back and report to council.
You say it,
Recommended
you say it
action.
does? Yes. I
So the
agree.
recommended action would be for us to take him to court, whoever the property owner is. If the
If they
zoning
deem it,
board,
yeah.
the zoning says that we need to settle this in court,
Mhm.
then it'd be the village against whoever.
I mean, I don't see really any other way ultimately around it. Simply, if they're not going to adhere to your request, what other choice would you have but to take civil action?
I mean, so the only choice we would be is just listen to what zoning says. If zoning says we need to take them to court, then we just make a motion that we're gonna take them to court.
But when the zoning appeals, the last thing that we had from that was the problem back in the addition with DeVore and Lee's.
Right.
Yes.
And they met for the appeals, and the board decided to give them X amount of time to work it out by themselves, and if not, they'd come before them again. And they just notified council if that's what they were doing. I mean, council didn't say,
Yeah,
yeah, okay, we vote on
I
it.
didn't vote on anything for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
And I didn't vote on
So-
anything for the property on Buffalo Street when we took that to court.
Yeah, it was actually the property owners that came back to zoning appeals and said they worked it out.
Yeah,
Zoning appeals told him he had to move it. That Mr. Lee had to move the
which in
shed.
theory, when they go
I
to
guess
try to
we'll
sell
find
those
out.
houses, it's gonna be, yeah.
Another mess.
Yeah, well, cause who's gonna say that the new buyer agrees with the old, handshake and whatever, so.
Well, it's because it's in the recorder's office now. It actually goes with the deed. They filed it in the recorder's office, so.
But you're, like, if you,
Almost like.
I mean, again, if I buy this house, and I guess it doesn't matter, we don't have to get into it, cause it's not, but if you buy that house and the shed is already against the thing outside of the 5 foot, whatever, I don't care what's on the system, cause that's the rules that you're buying the house under, I guess, I mean, I don't know, but
Maybe
that'll
it's
be
just in disclosure, when you look
That
at the
is-
property,
yep.
it'll say in disclosure that your neighbor's lot's sitting on your
Yeah.
neighbor's shed's sitting on your
Yeah.
lot, I don't know.
It definitely hurts the value of your house when you go to sell it. You would definitely want to resolve it, you know.
Yeah. This trailer, though, like they said, it's been there 35, 38 years. And that was before any of them moved onto that street. They all knew it was there when they moved on there.
Yeah,
At
but
the same
but it
time,
also,
something that's not habitable is.
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah.
that's what I don't know, cause
And that's
if you
what we
look-
ran into with
Yeah,
the house that was
But
across
George
the
was
street there.
here last month and said that there was no habitable thing wrong.
yeah,
right?
but I think George was
I mean, it's
also,
kinda hard to
we have to
dispute that
remember
with the
that
district.
George's son works for the guy.
Wait, whoa, do not bring that
Yeah.
up. That's,
Don't-
Okay,
that's,
but here's the
This
thing.
is going
They-
back just like your
Hold on,
son.
no, this was brought up, so we're talking about it. We were also told that it was habitable.
Let's
There is a
remain
hole-
respectful.
That, I
all right?
agree.
Let's remain respectful.
That picture with the hole in the floor
Right.
was after George and you, Brian, went through and said it was perfectly fine.
We didn't say it was perfectly fine. I
No,
said there
you-
wasn't
you
holes
said-
in the
Well, you
floor.
told me that picture wasn't even real. It's like that was taken after
I
that.
didn't say that picture wasn't real. I said that when I went through it, I saw no broken windows and no holes in the floor. That's what I
Okay,
said.
But even so, our code does say that it has to be brought up to housing standards if it's outside of a manufactured home. George actually brought me the ordinance today, or yesterday, that it has to, if it's outside of the, a trailer park, then it has to meet current standards now. That's what we passed in, or what our council passed in 1998.
So I guess, and I'm not defending him one way or another, but if the new guy bought this and he's trying to improve it and bring it up to codes based on what the old stuff was, then where do we go, like, with the whole grandfather thing and?
Well, I would like to, like on those pictures there, he actually put the skirting up right over top of that mess.
Okay, well, I can tell you
That's
right now, I'm not a I don't know anything
Right.
about
That's
construction,
fine,
so
because it's all about
technically,
curb appeal.
yeah, it seals it. So if nothing can get under there, then in theory that, I don't know, because I don't build stuff or whatever, but I mean,
It's no different than siding your house over some old shitty
You're
siding.
right, you're right, you're right.
You're not stripping it down to bare stud and putting new siding up if you wanna go over the old stuff. If they wanna cover up a mess underneath the trailer by putting something nice up and new, and you can't see what's under there, then that satisfies your curb appeal. I mean, that's the only thing they're really
I thought we
complaining
had
about
home
is curb appeal down
standards
there.
like that.
Well,
you
the
know.
home standards say they gotta have running water.
Yep.
A toilet.
Yep.
Heat.
Yep.
Electricity.
Yep.
Is there, what else?
That's about it.
I mean, it's very basic on what you have to have.
You don't have to have windows.
Yeah, you can
It-
board up
it-
all your windows.
It also says
Or you
it
can
has
just
to
run
have
the
a
heat
concrete
conditioner.
foundation.
I'm sorry.
It also says it has to have a concrete foundation. And it doesn't. It's actually, the east end of it is actually sitting on dirt.
Yeah, being a house trailer, it kind of falls into different rules as a house as
Yeah.
far as a foundation, because it never had a foundation.
The original trailer that was there before 1988 actually did meet the requirements.
But I would
That
suppose
pad
if you
that's
ever,
under it is 7 foot shorter than the current trailer, which
probably,
actually butts up to the property. So
probably
somebody-
any trailer you ever look under the skirt probably looks like that underneath.
Yeah. Sometimes they just have two, they have cinder blocks where the wheels sit.
Yeah.
Pretty standard.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's still on zoning, that they can figure it out. If he's got a stop work order, then that sounds like a legal matter that they're gonna have to settle
Yeah.
and figure out what it is they gotta do, and if they come up with a recommendation.
The meeting on the
discuss it.
21st is a public hearing. Anybody can go to that, public hearing.
can we
Tell
all
me.
go?
Can we all go to show
Yeah,
the
'cause you're not-
public
Yeah, it's a public hearing, right?
It's a public
Shane?
hearing.
Sure.
It's a public hearing. Anybody can go to the public hearing, and that's where
But
you,
You wanna
they're
get
doing
back
it
with us
here,
on that?
so you can only imagine how much space you're gonna have. Like-
Well, it's fine, I mean, I don't know, I just wondered with all of it, if all 6 of us show up, then doesn't that kind of run into the same thing that we just,
No, actually, what it's talking about is you meet with an agenda.
okay. So
If all 6 of you show up for a ball game, it's not a council meeting.
Gotcha.
yeah.
You advertise a certain meeting, you show up with an agenda with the intention to talk, it's fine. 2 people, yes.
And it's not a council meeting unless we all decide we want to talk about council stuff and somebody overhears us and says, hey, I heard it, and I'm gonna testify in court that they were all talking about council
Yeah,
stuff
right.
at the ballgame.
Right. Well, the stop order that was issued was because he was extending the size of the structure on a non-conforming, without a permit and a
What,
non-conforming.
he
So
put
that's
them
what it
boards
was.
around the window, is that
We
what?
built a porch,
She built a porch.
He
Yeah,
built
but
he was
put
building
some-
a
he put
3-season
some
room,
boards around the window
but you
too.
don't have to be made out of tree,
but, yeah.
only if it touches the concrete.
He was going
Let
further
it go
onto
to
the
zoning
neighbor's property.
Yeah.
Why don't we have a motion to adjourn?
The
I tried.
I will make a motion to
motion
adjourn.
to
Bryce
adjourn,
Bryce made a motion to adjourn,
Okay.
second,
Kenny?
Kenny, second.
second, all those in favor, signify by aye.
Yes.